Constipation is defined as delay or difficulty in defecation present for more than 1 month and significant enough to cause distress to the patient. Any definition of constipation is relative and depends on stool consistency, stool frequency, and difficulty in passing the stool. A normal child might have a soft stool only every second or third day without difficulty. This is not constipation. A hard stool passed with difficulty every third day should be treated as constipation. Constipation can arise from defects either in filling or emptying the rectum. There are two main types of constipation. First, functional constipation and secondary constipation. Functional constipation, also known as idiopathic constipation, fecal withholding, can usually be differentiated from constipation secondary to organic causes based on history and physical examination. A nursing infant might have very infrequent stool of normal consistency. This is usually normal pattern. True constipation in the neonatal period is most likely secondary to Hirschsprung disease, intestinal pseudo-obstruction, or hypothyroidism. Unlike anorectal malformations and Hirschsprung disease, functional constipation typically starts after neonatal period. In toddlers, coercive or inappropriately early toilet training is a factor that can initiate a pattern of stool retention. In older children, retentive constipation can develop after entering a situation that makes stool inconvenient, such as school. Because the passage of bowel movements is painful, voluntary withholding of feces to avoid the painful stimulus develops. The resultant cholestasis leads to excessive drying of stool and failure to initiate reflexes from the rectum. That normally trigger evacuation. Constipation tends to be self-perpetuating, whatever its cause. Hard, large stools in the rectum become difficult and even painful to evacuate. Thus, more retention occurs and a vicious cycle ensues. This tension of the rectum and colon lessens the sensitivity of the defecation reflex and the effectiveness of peristaltis. Eventually, watery content from the proximal colon might percolate around hard retained stool and pass per rectum unperceived by the child. These involuntary encompresses may be mistaken for diarrhea. Constipation itself does not have a deleterious systemic organic effects, but urinary tract stasis with increased risk of urinary tract infections can accompany severe long-standing cases, and constipation can generate anxiety, having a marked emotional impact on the patient and family. Usually there is an intentional or subconscious withholding of stool. An acute episode usually precedes the chronic course. This acute event could include a social stressor such as initiation of toilet training, birth of a sibling, starting daycare, or abuse. The acute episode may be a dietary change from human milk to cow's milk, secondary to the change in protein and carbohydrate ratio, or an allergy to cow's milk. Diagnostic criteria of constipation: 2 or few defecations per week, history of excessive stool retention, history of hard painful bowel movement, at least 1 weekly episode of incontinence after being toilet trained, a history of retentive posturing or excessive volitional stool retention. Clinical manifestations: when children have to urge to defecate, typical behavior include contracting the gluteal muscle by stiffening the legs while lying down, holding onto furniture while standing, or squatting quietly in corners, waiting for the call to stool to pass. The caregivers may misinterpret these activities as training, but it is withholding behavior. In functional constipation, daytime encompresses is common. Encopresis is defined as voluntary or involuntary passage of feces into inappropriate places at least once a month for 3 consecutive months, once a chronological or developmental age of 4 years had been reached. Children with no evidence abnormalities on physical examination rarely require radiologic evaluation. Treatment. Therapy for functional constipation and encopresis include patient education, relief of impaction, and softening of the stool. Caregivers must understand that soiling associated with overflow incontinence is associated with loss of normal sensation and not a willful act. There needs to be a focus on adherence with regular postprandial toilet sitting and adoption of a balanced diet. If an impaction is present on the initial physical examination, an enema is usually required to clear the impaction, while stool softeners are started as maintenance medication. Typical regimens include to use polyethylene glycol preparations, lactulose, or mineral oil. Prolonged use of stimulants such as senna or bisacodyl should be avoided. Rapid rectal disinfection. Glycerin suppositories, infants and toddlers. Postpartum enema. Slow oral disinfection. Polyethylene glycol with electrolytes. Milk of magnesia. Mineral oil, lactulose or sorbitol, maintenance therapy of constipation, milk of magnesia, mineral oil, lactulose or sorbitol, senna or Senogod syrup or tablets, glycerin enema, bisacodyl suppositories.